Guys, it's Leo here from Bookworm Reading, and today we are continuing History Month in the Bookworm Reading channel. Today we will be learning about Harriet Tubman, freedom fighter. This book is an I Can Read Level 2 book. It's by Nadia L. Hohn. Pictures by Gustavo Mazali. Now, before we get started in the video, be sure to check if you have liked and subscribed. If you haven't, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn it white. Alright, when you're done, let's get straight into the video. Harriet Tubman, freedom fighter. Harriet Tubman was no ordinary hero. As a woman and a slave, she had no rights and was not taught how to read or write. She also had a disability. None of that stopped her from leading many people to freedom. Harriet Tubman was born enslaved in 1822 in Maryland. Everyone in her family was enslaved. As a slave, Harriet could be sold like an animal or a house by a white slave master. Slaves had to work for no pay. Many slaves lived and worked on small farms and plantations. They were treated badly. We know her as Harriet Tubman, but she was born, but when she was born, her name was Aramida Minty Ross. When Minty was a girl in the 1800s, slavery was no longer allowed in the northern states in America. But Maryland was a southern state. When Minty was 3, her sister Maria Ritty was sold. And soon after that, Minty's sister Lena was sold too. They were taken away from the family. Soon after, Minty was loaned out to work on other plantations. Once she had to rock her baby all night so it wouldn't cry. If the baby cried, Minty was whipped. Another time, Minty had to take the muskrats out of trap while wading in an icy mush, even though she was sick. Minty knew that slavery was wrong. As she grew older, she started to think about escape. One day, Minty went to the store. A slave master threw a heavy weight at a slave who was trying to flee. Instead, Minty was hit on the head. She fainted and bled a lot. Minty woke up weeks later, but this injury caused a disability. Minty had seizures and headaches for the rest of her life. Minty started having vivid dreams in which she saw God gave her guidance. When Minty was a young adult, her slave master died. The slaves on his farm knew that they might be sold far away. For Minty, this meant that her family that she loved so much might be separated and never see each other again. Harriet Tubman, as she then called herself, and the two of her brothers tried to escape but turned back because the punishment would be huge. Harriet decided to escape again, alone and with no map. She prayed that God would lead her. Harriet traveled north through the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad did not have trains. It was a group of people, both black and white, who helped freedom seekers escape. Sometimes the help was a safe place to hide. Hiding places were called stations. The helper were called conductors. When Harriet got to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, she was free. For months she worked in the city. She missed her family who was still enslaved. So she saved all her money and used it to go back south to help free her family. The trip south was dangerous. If found by slave catchers, slaves were to return to slavery, hurt, or killed. Despite the enormous danger, Harriet kept on going back. When the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, Philadelphia became too unsafe for Harriet and her family. So they went all the way to St. Catharines in Canada to live. But Harriet still returned to the United States to free more slaves. She moved on foot, boat, train, and wagon. She often wore disguises. She was never caught. In 1861, the Civil War began between the North and South. The North formed the Union Army and the South formed the Confederate Army. The Union Army fought to keep the United States from breaking apart. Wanting to help end slavery, Harriet signed up black men to be soldiers in the Union Army. She worked as a cook, a nurse, and a spy. Harriet freed slaves as the army moved. She even led a battle. When the war ended in 1865, slavery ended. Harriet believed in freedom for all until the day she died. She said, "I should not fight for my liberty so long as my strength lasted." I should fight for my liberty so long as my strength lasted. And this is the timeline. You can take a quick look if you want, and you can pause the video if you want a longer look. And this is the Underground Railroad and more fun facts about it. And this is the place where she lived. Alright, that's the end of Harriet Tubman, freedom fighter from History Week, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.